walking past the nurse's station on rounds when I overheard, "I've got to choose between taking care of my child, taking care of myself, or losing my job. What exactly do they expect me to do?" Now, if you can honestly say that you don't know the sex of the person who spoke those words, I'll give you $1,000 right now. Here's another thing that I've heard so many times that I finally decided I'm going to levy a fine the next time I hear a patient say it. It goes a little something like, "My kids have their lives. They have their work. They can't possibly bring me to chemotherapy that often." Now, you don't have to guess the sex of the patient who spoke those words, because for the past 20 years, all my patients have been women. You see, the day before I wrote this talk, I decided I'd had enough. I'd listened to those words of self-deprecation enough. And I'd seen that story one time too many. It's the story of a woman's work. It's the story of a woman's belief that her body, her life, her freedom must be sacrificed for the benefit of those that she loves. Yes, a man's sweet falsetto is most famously aligned with the tune, but make no mistake, it was the heart and mind of a woman which brought it to life. Kate Bush captures the quintessential agony of that moment, caught between being alive and bringing something to life. Day after day in my office, that moment plays out in the lives of my patients, and in my mind, the soundtrack plays on repeat. I bet that some of you too are all too familiar with both the moment and the music. Your body, your care, or the care of those who depend on you for their nurturing. Why is it that we accept this false dichotomy so easily? Why do men and women around the world accept as a matter of course that women forego sleep, postpone healthcare screenings and regular exercise, defer dreams, sacrifice nutrition, decline promotions, all easily recognizable aspects of self-care? Why is self-care not a woman's work too? The beauty of women is that they seem to nurture by nature. Stated better, women don't tend to shy away from the work of caregiving. They know the work that's required to tend to wounds, dry tears, and comfort bruised egos. That nurses question that day underscores that fact. She knows the effort required to perform these tasks for her children, for her patients, and for herself. The tragic irony is that all too commonly, women don't nurture themselves first. 20 years of GYN oncology practice later, I know women as probably few men do. And I know this, I've heard that variation on the theme of "I must care for them first" far too many times. And that's what I told my patient that day in order to redirect her thinking. "I'm going to charge you a nickel, ma'am, the next time you suggest that some other person's well-being take priority over your own. I'm going to charge you a nickel, though the cost of self-neglect is clearly much more. The cost is years lost watching grandchildren grow up, or seeing children get married because of some delayed cervical cancer diagnosis. When these and other preventable diseases are delayed in their diagnosis, the cost is truly inestimable. And that is a price that should never be paid. 10 years ago, I got sober. And a doctor, my sponsor, handed me a prescription that read, "Sobriety is your #1 job." Sobriety is more important than robotic surgery. Sobriety is more important than public speaking. Sobriety is more important than being a husband, and even more important than being a father. Sobriety is your #1 job because sobriety makes all these other things possible. So while there are many mantras that I live by, this one is my most powerful. Sobriety is my #1 job. There's another powerful mantra that I say before every surgery and every patient encounter. The patient feels what I feel. This is a reminder to be aware of and respectful of my humanity. It's a brief check-in with both my physical and emotional needs, so that when I show up at her bedside, I am a version of my best self, pouring from a full cup and focused on her well-being. And this is the moral of the story and the basis of my recommendation for you. This sober cancer surgeon is only able to show up at her bedside, focused on her care, because he is committed to making time for daily self-care. And by doing the same, you too can achieve excellence and satisfaction in all the roles that you play, whether at work or at home. 10 years ago, Anne-Marie Slaughter said, "Family comes first. And if family comes first, work will not come second." And today, your doctor of the future adds, self-care comes first. And if self-care comes first, family will not come second. Now, some of you have no idea how to begin this work, and that's okay. Today, let's take the first step forward together. Let's take a moment, making it all about you. Unapologetically focused on your healing, your well-being, your nurturing, your joys, your fears, your pain, your pleasures, as we move together. And I offer this suggestion to you. Nurture yourself first. Care for you first. Love yourself first. This is my prescription for you. Love and light.